All right, so we'll start off with reading the title, and then we decide if they are the asshole based off the title. This first one we have is, am I the asshole for telling my parents to ask their foster children for help instead of me? What the f? Yes? I don't know. This is already weird. Yes? No. No. Well, my initial reaction was yes. I have to stick with yes. My 34 male life could have been doing okay growing up, except that my parents wanted to be good people. So they became foster parents. I think that was noble of them. Those kids needed help. The downside was that I got ignored. I got less attention than those kids because I was independent and didn't need the help. Gifts from my grandparents became gifts for the family. My grandparents put a stop to that by not buying me gifts, but taking me out for instead. I got to go see movies and taken out for meals and weekend trips with my grandparents. My dad's folks took me to Disneyland, and my mom's mom and dad took me to New York City. Dang, these are crazy. My parents tried to get the money for this stuff given to them, instead. Ooh. I begged my grandparents not to do that. I left the house when I was 17. I graduated early and got into a trade. My grandfather was in the union and he got me in. I've been at it for 17 years now and I'm doing okay. My parents are not. They ran themselves ragged taking in all those kids. Even the money they got wasn't enough to make up for their sacrifices. They asked me for help and I said no. I know that if I give them money, they will just waste it on the kids they took in after I left. Wasted on the kids. I told them they had a plethora of foster kids that they could ask for money. My mom said she was disappointed in me and that she thought she had raised me better. I said I raised myself from 8 years old onward. My grandparents are tapped out too. My parents already owe them so much money. My wife says she understands how I feel but thinks I'm being mean. My mom thinks I am holding a grudge from childhood. I refuse to speak with my father, but I assume he is still giving my old things to the new kids. Everybody kind of sucks here. I mean, I understand OP being like really bitter because like their parents really did ignore them when they that is crazy. I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I don't think they're the. I mean, the response, them saying like, go ask them instead of like that kind of snark little tude, I think is what makes you a little bit of an asshole. But overall, it's like all built up from like pent up energy and stuff, and like, why are you coming at me now type of thing. So, I mean, I don't know. This one is, am I the asshole for refusing to do yard work after my wife built a garden? Yes? My wife, 29 female, and I, 31 male, bought our first house this past winter. This house is in decent shape, but the yard needed a lot of work. We spent the winter planning what we wanted to do with the yard in terms of landscaping. My wife has always wanted a garden, but I have a severe bee wasp allergy and I do not want to plant a bunch of stuff that would attract those insects to our yard. She kept begging me to let her build a garden and told me that there's going to be insects in our yard anyway. I carry an EpiPen with me pretty much all the time when I'm outside, but I would prefer not to have a deadly threat in my yard at all times. I went out of town for work for about a week 6 weeks ago. When I got back, I saw that my wife had done a lot of work in the yard. She had bought a few raised planting beds and started a little vegetable garden. She had also dug up a couple areas on both sides of our driveway and planted a bunch of native plants and flowers as pollinator gardens. Oh. I'll admit, my first reaction probably wasn't the best. It was something along the lines of, what the f are you thinking? We got into a pretty big fight about it because she kept downplaying how much of a problem it would be for me. That is really f***ed up. That's like absolutely f***ed up. A severe allergy. What? But like a severe allergy? I feel like that's really f***ed up though. Like hello? She kept saying things like, they won't sting you unless you bother them. They are going to be in our yard anyway. Native pollinator plants are important. You have an EpiPen anyway. I just don't feel like that is an appropriate risk to make. You have your EpiPen anyway. Okay, what if like there's the one time that you don't have it? That's, what the heck? What the heck, dude? Now, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with any of those statements, but to me, she's inviting deadly threats into our yard, and to make it worse, she's telling me it's not a big deal. I told her that if she wanted to keep all that stuff in our yard, she just signed up for doing all the yard work by herself because I'm not going to put myself at risk just so she can grow a few zucchinis. I am not going to mow the lawn or pull weeds if it means I might get stung. She told me I am overreacting, but since she wants to keep everything she planted, she begrudgingly agreed to do all the yard work. Well, now that summer is in full swing, she doesn't like the arrangement. She complains that it's too hot and the yard work would go a lot faster if both of us were doing it. She complains that the grass grows too fast and doesn't like having to spend time every weekend mowing. But she will also post videos on social media about all the bees that her pollinator garden is attracting. This past weekend, she told me that she was too tired to mow and asked me to do it. I told her that we already agreed she would do all the yard work since she wanted to keep her gardens. She again told me I'm overreacting and that I needed to help. I told her that I'm not putting myself at risk when we both know there are more bees in our yard now because of her garden. I have taken on a lot more of the household chores to compensate for her doing the yard work, so it's not like I'm slacking off. She refuses to see things from my point of view. Divorce. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I don't know. Not the asshole. Honest, not the asshole. Your wife's an asshole, though. Like, I don't get how, if it's a severe allergy, yes, save the bees. Save the bees, yes. Oh my gosh, is she the bee movie lady? It's just so weird. You have your EpiPen on you anyway? That just strikes me as odd. Like, bad. Does she have a life insurance policy on you? I need to know. Dude, I bet she has a life insurance policy on him. Be on the lookout, y'all. Am I the asshole for telling a girl she's ugly in front of her coworkers? Yeah. Well, okay, that was my initial reaction, so it's gonna be yes. But, I mean, if she was, like, being, like, just being uncomfortable to the point where she was, like, okay, anyway, we'll see. I have a friend who's obsessed with beauty, by which I mean bone structures, lip width, and other anatomical stuff. She spends a lot of time on those weird groups where they analyze celebrities' facial features. They think that most are mid, lol. Anyway, it's weird, but I don't mind that. I mean, I read Simpsons fan theories and look for clues when watching the show later. My point is that some people have strange obsessions, and it's okay as long as they're healthy. Sadly, her obsession isn't healthy, in my opinion. Sometimes when we hung out, she would bring her cousin, who's objectively pretty. She got a modeling offer without even stepping into a modeling agency. She's nice, so I didn't mind. But then my friends started comparing us, which is super random. That's a little, yeah. I mean, she's skinny, has dark blonde hair and blue eyes, and I'm overweight with black curly hair, and overall, we are completely opposite. So my friend would tell her cousin how pretty she is and how she's jealous of her getting this modeling contract. She was talking about how beautiful her body is and would ask me to confirm, for examples, her face structure is superb. Do you agree? No wonder she's a model, right? I mean, she is pretty, but like, who cares? I don't know if I just get why it's important. It's giving, it's giving Mean Girls. Now that's the part where I got angry. She would also often say things to me, your face is so fat. What the and your boobs are way too big. What the okay. Or your nose is weird. What the fuck? What the fuck? Well, you get it. But once she said that I look like a used 30-year-old, which is old according to her. What I can't. Used? I asked. And she said, yeah, you look like a 30-year-old woman who drinks and sleeps around a lot. You know, used. What the I can't believe you're actually so modest and don't drink. It doesn't look like that at all. What? Then she laughed super loudly, like it's a really funny joke. Now, this kind of thing happened a few times, but it was way less extreme. This time it was where I might have crossed the line. I said she might be analyzing all of those faces, but it doesn't change the fact that she's ugly. I mean, okay. She kept pushing and pushing, bro. She looks like a sad horse, and in order to change that, she would need plastic surgery. Lots of it. Okay, alright, maybe, At least I can improve my face with makeup. She can't. Honestly, I felt guilty immediately, and some of the people in the group later said I should have let her have it because she's just some girl from a village who doesn't always know boundaries. I mean, I get that, but it's time to learn boundaries because being this clueless is crazy. It's not being brutally honest, it's just being brutal. I know that she's the asshole, but am I? Maybe I shouldn't get on her level and be the bigger person. TLDR, my beauty-obsessed friend keeps critiquing my looks and comparing me to her model cousin until one day I snapped by saying she looks like a horse and it made her sad. I feel like the plastic surgery comment might have, like, it might be a thing that's going to leave a little bit of a lasting impression. It probably wasn't cool to say, but that was the around and find out kind of thing. So, I don't know. It is mean to say it. She did feel guilty and stuff. Yes, but deserved. I mean, it is a good opportunity to, like, bring up to her, like, if you want to just, like, if you do feel guilty about it, just be like, oh, how about we just, like, talk about why that happened, because you're just being way too much. It's like the perfect, be like, I'm so sorry, but, like, dude, you need to stop, that kind of thing. God damn. This one is, am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend she needs to get a real job and she will never be a famous comedian? It's pretty rude. I would say yes, but I don't know, yes? 31 male and my girlfriend is 28. Her and I have been together for 6 years and have been living together for the last 2. Going to attempt to keep this short, so please ask for details if I leave something out. Girlfriend has always enjoyed doing comedy and has done open mic nights since we've met shortly after college. She had a real sales job, though, that was her Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job where she made decent money. I have a good but hard job and make almost triple what my girlfriend was making when she had her job. I said had because last August she quit her job because it was taking away from her comedy ventures. She told me a year from now she thinks she can really make it. I was a bit skeptical, but since I make enough to support us, I encouraged her because I want to be a supportive boyfriend. Since she quit her job, she began doing Uber and DoorDash, which is where she makes 100% of her money. Her comedy has gotten us $0. Over the past few months, I have started to resent her, though. She constantly complains she has no money, yet drives for Uber and DoorDash maybe 3 times a week for maybe 4 hours at a time. I have been paying a lot more for household expenses, and I'm not saving as much as I'd like to anymore. She sleeps till noon because sometimes her open mic nights run late before she even gets to perform. And when she gets up, she just bums around on TikTok and YouTube looking for inspiration. She also gets very moody with me if I don't come to 90% of her open mic performances. Even after working a 14-hour day, she will get mad if I don't go to her open mic at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. Last night I did the unthinkable. I asked her to consider going back to a full-time job. I said she would still do her comedy, but I'm struggling with taking care of our expenses all by myself. When she gave me a dismissive answer, I told her firmly that she will never be a famous comedian. Okay. I said she's 28 and it's time to grow the fuck up and join the real world because this is totally unfair to me that I bust my ass while she lives in La La Land and that she can't be this naive at this age by thinking she's going to support herself with this. She started being silenced for a few minutes, started crying, and went to stay with a friend. She called me a dickhead asshole and I'm the worst friend ever. She has not answered her phone today yet. So am I a dickhead asshole? Yes, but she also sucks. You snapped. You did snap. Yes. But it was just, dude, everybody, yes, but I understand why, but you probably shouldn't have said all that. That's kind of what makes you the asshole. Like, was there an apology or anything? Or just be like, oh, I'm sorry, like, it's because of all this. These people are willing to explain all of what's going on for the backstory, but, like, do they apologize and explain why? Does the other person know why? It's good that they give context, but sometimes you need to remind your person for context, right? I don't know. It is incredibly frustrating to have to do all that, you know? I don't know. Everyone sucks here, mostly her. Yeah, she is clearly not putting in her fair share with work and bills, and your frustration over having to handle most of it while she pursues her comedy adventures is justified. But you really lost steam towards the end. While I realize you make some good points, that message got warped when you completely blew up and demeaned her. Yeah. I know, I lost my cool and said some things I shouldn't have. So am I a dickhead asshole? Dude, you wrote this when you were angry.